Talk to me about Asia. You
Sure.
know, I went to Singapore for my first time last year for Token, and
Did you like it?
I loved it. I mean, first of all, the story of Singapore is fascinating and really inspiring.
Yes.
And when I told my students about it here, a lot of people never heard of that story and just what they've created since the 60s. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I also saw a bull market in September of 23 when the rest, I mean, I just come back from Consensus where everybody was licking their wounds. And here in London, nobody wanted to smile about crypto. And Token was sold out, 10,000 people.
Yeah,
it was
energy.
on, great energy.
Yes.
And meanwhile, you've got the Ordinals kicking off,
Yes.
and there was a lot of Asian buyers, a lot of Chinese buyers there.
Absolutely.
And I started to be hearing, everyone was like, Vietnam's doing this, Thailand's doing
Yes.
this, Philippines are doing this. Everyone was breaking down all these countries in Asia, how they were all taking a slightly different spin on it. And I was kind of introduced to Asia in crypto, which is arguably the driving force in crypto.
Yeah.
What can you tell people that they don't understand? Because a lot of people from North America and Europe, they look at the world from that viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because typically, for the last 50, 100 years, those areas have dominated a lot of tech, but they haven't done it now. What do we need to understand about different areas of Asia, even the way Asia looks at these assets?
Yeah.
I was talking, weirdly, I was in Dubai, Jan, Feb, March, and I met a lot of Chinese women at centralized exchanges and these senior positions. And one of them pulled me aside and she said, Brian, she said, gambling's in our culture. And I'd never heard that before. And I was just like, okay, I'd never heard that before. And so I'm just this kind of naive, person that doesn't really understand all the facts.
Let me share my perspective, right?
Please.
First of all, we can take a systematic approach to analyze it, right? We have East, we have West. We have institution, we have retail. What drive Bitcoin ecosystem, especially Ordinals, to this level was definitely the Eastern retail, right? And the narrative I remember very vividly was a lot of institutional VC-backed heavy projects, mostly on Ethereum. The Asia community have very little access in the early rounds, right? And then all of a sudden BRC20 came out and everybody know Bitcoin in Asia, right? And then you can mint all these fair launch public mint, which nobody can front run you. There was no pre-mine. It was the narrative. It hit home run. Everybody loved it. It was like such a long, very soul-sucking bear market, right? All of a sudden, there's a new thing came out, and it's minted on Bitcoin network. It's a new assets. People potentially have a fair access to it.
Okay.
So that was kind of hit a home run a little bit.
You said everybody knows Bitcoin in Asia.
A lot of people know Bitcoin. Yeah, almost everybody now.
How is that? And in China, a lot of people own Bitcoin.
I'm not sure a lot of people own Bitcoin, but they know Bitcoin. It's being very heavily educated.
Okay.
They know the name, they know the term, they know it's digital assets. Some people actually hold it. Some people actually secretly own it. Because some other friends own it, or they bought for OTC, or they actually have like mining machine and stuff, right? Like, if we remember from before 2021, China and a few other Asian countries own over 80% of the computation power of Bitcoin network, right? Government's policy and all that shut down a lot of them and then relocated a lot of the mining computation power to United States, in Iceland, and different countries in the world, right? That's that.
Singapore,
it's difficult, almost impossible to really mine Bitcoin because the electricity is high level.
Okay.
Singapore is important. I'm glad they actually liked Singapore. Singapore being a very important crypto hub in South Asia because one, they have the best infrastructure. They have a lot of high educated fintech people who understand digital assets, like the basics. And there was a lot of very important companies. They have the Asia chapter here, and they have like zero capital gain taxes, which is very crypto friendly. They also have some multiple licensed exchanges, right, in Singapore and so on. A lot of the market makers, including like Mintomute, right, headquarters. I just went there a couple of hours ago. They're based in London. They all have their trading desk in Singapore. Drum Crypto, GSR, all these major United States like crypto market maker and major liquid funds have their trading firm in Singapore. So Singapore is a very important place in Asia. Like if you go to only one country, if you pick one country you want to go in Asia as a Westerner, you go Singapore.
Okay.
That's that. And that's the reason Token 2049 as a conference brand, they were smart, right? Locate themselves in Singapore right before the F1, right? So
right,
people,
the Grand Prix at the
Grand
Marina
Prix,
Bay Sands.
exactly.
What more could you want?
Yeah, there's a lot of crypto people love F1, including myself. I'm a huge fan of F1. That's why we have this F1 branding. In Bitlayer, we call this like helmet, driving safe and be faster, right? So, but I want to try to revisit the topic, right?
Yes.
Why Asia had so much momentum in Bitcoin? It was because of that, the fair mint, the open access, and people understand Bitcoin. I think Western people, especially in the United States, they understand Solana quite a lot. Whereas Asia, Bitcoin was the one, right? And we even have multiple attempts like BSV, Bitcoin, BSV, Bitcoin Cash, different kind of hard fork version on that. Proof of work was a very accepted concept in the Asia community, right? And I want to try to comment on some of the Chinese lady you said, like the Chinese people or some Asian people like to gamble, which I think culturally is true. I wouldn't try to be like the whole culture experts to comment that we see a lot of people wants to gamble, even from the Western community as well. But it's about, I think the whole hard working and trying to change their social status and access to this free market in crypto space is very attractive for the Asia community, right? If we can culturally argue, a lot of Asian countries it's been very difficult to really become successful in certain industry, right? We talk about education industry, energy, healthcare. It's just really difficult to climb up your career ladder in a very short period of time. And Asia hustler kind of hardworking kind of culture really is very important to be kind of one element, right? To really driven. If you want to be successful in crypto, you need to work hard. You need to grind. You need to really like no holiday, no weekend, the kind of stuff, right? Which in Asia, in a lot of countries, it's just nature, right?
Normal.
It's normal. If there's a good opportunity, you just grind out. You don't really chill, like taking your it's a 1 month long vacation for that. We all kind of saying that one day in crypto sometimes like 1 year outside of crypto, right? So it's very energy consuming, right? I think last year, if you want to tap into all the Ordinals, all these like early mint, you need to do proof of work. Like you literally have to be in front of a laptop, understand this and that, maybe do a lot of grinding, right? So that was pretty exciting period. And everybody kind of have this fair access. There's no like privilege. There's no quote unquote royal family, whatever. There's no centralization authority. Bitcoin space has no Vitalik, right? With all due respect, Vitalik is a great founder. He definitely moved the industry forward. I have a mega respect to him. But there's like in Bitcoin space, Satoshi just disappeared. There's no people like kind of finger pointing, wish we go this and that. It's like it's a very free market kind of approach. There's a supply, there's a demand, people like it, off you go, right? We don't have to listen certain people's comment and they have like a collective agenda. Bitcoin Foundation doesn't really exist anymore. Whereas Ethereum, there's a lot of things it's in the agenda. It's more like a controlled economy, quote unquote, with a leader, with agenda, with a plan, and with like a centralization entity called the Ethereum Foundation. Some people like it, some people don't like it, but it's just different. Whereas Bitcoin, it's quite free market, right? When you have a free market, you don't have to be entitled with like you are a big title, you have a major company, you have to be a big OG, otherwise you're nobody. In Bitcoin, everybody has fair access. Ordinals was like that. It was a bunch of nobody came up with this interesting concept. Now people have access to this new asset minting protocol. And then people have fun minting it. And some people start interested in buying it. So Asia have the interesting access on that. We don't actually require big VC on that. So that's interesting, right? When all the assets being created and when certain traction being hit, and then all the institutions, including VCs, start paying attention. So that was kind of the reason we have the history last year.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.